morning, everyone. This is Ava with Stitching in the Interlake. I thank you so very much for coming and joining me. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I have been trying to do a Stitch with Me video since last week. I have tried every day, if not twice a day, trying to get this darn thing to go. So here I am yet again. It is, what is it? The Thursday, the 24th? I think it is, or the 23rd of June. Alexa, what day is it?
Today is Thursday, 24th of June.
It's the 24th of June.
I see a calendar set up. I've sent some help for linking your account to your Alexa app.
Sorry about that. She goes on and on. She goes on and on sometimes. Anyway, this is what I have been trying to work on in the last week. And this has been it exclusively every time I come on here to try and do a Stitch with Me. This is, okay, I call this country living. Everyday eCrafts calls it this. Okay? I just called it country living because I liked the name. So, okay, and like I said, it's from Everyday eCrafts. And this is an 11 count. And I am working on this, I believe is, what is it, 920. Okay. So, see here. I take my full 6 threads and I pull one out. And this is what I do. And it should go. Now, normally I have this thread up on my table here, but then I do the loop method. So I bring the 2 cut ends together. Okay, so there are the 2 cut ends. And that provides a loop on this end. Oh, okay. Where's my needle now? It's got to be here somewhere. Did I lose it? Oh, well, isn't... Oh, no, there it is. I was going to say, that's embarrassing. So then I hold my needle like this. So you can see I have both in my left hand. Now, if you're left-handed, it'll be the other way, I'm assuming. Then I go with my needle threader through the eye of the needle, and I put that loop around the needle threader, and I pull it out. So then on this side, I don't know if you can see, there are the cut ends. And, oops, sorry. There is the loop end. So I am working here on this orange. And I bring the needle through like that. Okay. Then I pull until I have the cut ends here. Okay. So you always have the looped end longer than the cut ends. Then I put the other end down. And bring that through until I have it here. So you see the loop there. So I bring my needle through that loop and I pull that through, and there's my anchor. As you can see, I know this is upside down to the picture, but as you can see, I don't like tags. I don't care for tags. I think it just, I don't know. I was always taught to try and have your back as neat as your front. So there, so that's anchored now. And as you can see, I'm stitching in hand. I don't use a hoop or frame or anything. And I stitch from in the direction of bottom left to top right and top left to bottom right. Now, I do the sewing method. So can you see here? I go underneath like that. So I come back out here on the bottom left and top right. And then I go here because I have these two down here. So I'm going to do this. And the reason why I am doing it like that for a second is because I try to have the shortest strands that I can. Do you see? There's no, like these are here because I had to drag it, but those will get buried underneath later. But you see there, I have no, everything looks good. And then I come back up here to this. And I pull. And as you can see, my stitches all lay nicely. See here? They all lay nicely. So if you're finding that you've got a thread kind of hanging up, or it's not anchored right, and that, it will make an uneven surface. The other thing is for newbies is that you always have your stitches, always have your stitches going in the same direction. So for me, it is my bottom arm will always be situated in that direction. Can you see that? And my top arm will always be, wait, I'm going to go here. Like this. That's my top arm. And my bottom arm, that was my bottom arm. And my top arm will always go that way. Because having stitches always going in the same direction gives your work a very even look to it. So I'm going to do that again. See, there's the bottom arm. And that completed the top arm. Okay, so there again. And if you have never stitched in hand before, it's going to take you a bit to get used to the tension, right. Now, I've been stitching for 50 years, about, maybe longer, can't remember, but my mother was an embroiderer, so I learned from her, but I don't care for embroidery. She was really good at it. Okay, so then here, so there's my top arm again. Now, just supposing that I decided, I'll do it here, down here on the blue here. Just supposing I went the other way. Okay. Say I went that way. Okay. And I went this way. Just supposing I did it that way. Can you see? I hope that comes in. Can you see that the light hangs off differently on these ones? These stitches go in this direction, and so it will always give your piece this direction. If you stitch the other way, then your eye goes this way. Okay? And to mix and match is, how can I equate it? Let's see. Okay, it's like trying to put a bolt, a nut, on a screw. Now, a nut goes on a bolt, but it won't go on a screw. And it looks odd and awkward. I don't know how else to reference it. Maybe something will come to me, but I don't know. The thing is, with stitching, you want your work to look the best that it can be. So for me, I'm just bringing my stitches back out again. There. Okay. So now I'm going back to my regular. And here, see, if you can see there, all these stitches, maybe down here you can see better. All these stitches, I can put my needle in here, and the top arm always looks the same. Okay. It is just how I roll. I've just been watching I watched this program called Agenda Free TV. It is on YouTube. And it's with Steve Lookner. And he's just having this all about this partial building collapse in Surfside, Florida. Oh my gosh, it's not good. And I guess it was in the middle of the night, so people were sleeping, and this building collapsed, this condo. So far as I know, there's only one dead, but there's bound to be many more. So my prayers go out to all the people that lived in that building, all their families who are waiting on news of loved ones, all those who have acquaintances there. This must be an absolutely terrible time for everyone. So I pray for them all, that those that can be saved will be saved, and those that unfortunately didn't make it, that their souls are at peace. And to bring comfort to their families. It's, I guess, too early to speculate as to what happened. Some are saying a sinkhole. If you hear that, that's a train in the background. I'm only a block away from the tracks. Many of these engineers don't blow the horn. They're good about it, but some of them do. But they're not sure yet what happened. Some are saying that it, like I said, a sinkhole. Others are saying that the supports gave way in the garage. This is a building from 1981, so it's not that old. My son was born in 1981, so that's 40 years ago. That's not an old building. And they were working on the roof, from what I hear, but there are lots and lots of buildings who are having their roofs redone. And so it's a sad state of affairs. For me, it is almost as if, but I don't want to speculate. I don't want to speculate. I have my own kind of theories. But it's just funny that it probably started in the garage. But others were saying that they had seen cracks before this. Perhaps that indicates that there was a structural defect, or perhaps the sinkhole. There are so many sinkholes that have been opening up lately because the water is just disappearing. The other thing I was thinking of, I think it was last week, there was an explosion, or an earthquake or something east of the coast of Florida. I am not quite sure exactly how that might go in line of that. I don't know. There are so many possible causes, but the end result is the same. This building has collapsed. Many have died. Many were rescued, and there are many who are still missing. So it saddens me that sorry, I needed a sip of tea. My throat gets really dry. Oh, this morning Lilybell got me up at 4 o'clock. So I put her out, left her in the here in the living room. Wrong thing to do. When she's left up to her own devices, oh my. She just feels that when she's alone, she has to piddle. And she did. So I have to go take one of my rugs outside and rinse it down. So I've been basically up since 4. And so I was really tired this morning. Really, really tired. So I started watching Agenda Free TV. And finished up my prayers. And I thought, oh, I'm just too tired. I'm too tired. So I laid down on the sofa here. And I fell asleep for over an hour. I think I laid down, oh, must have been an hour and a half. I laid down about 7:30 and I woke up at 9. So an hour and a half. I was so tired. Normally I don't. If I have a nap, it's usually, it has to be first thing in the morning. And but I go through these bouts where I get sleepy like that. Very, very sleepy. I think sometimes it's partly to my meds haven't worn off enough, because I take a lot of sleeping meds. And the reason why I take those is because I suffer from terrible nightmares. And, oops, should leave that here. And PTSD. So I don't feel, I can't sleep basically without it. And sometimes even with it, I still wake up from terrible nightmares or PTSD moments. Or they work themselves into, they work together. And the nightmares feed off of the PTSD, and the PTSD feeds off the nightmares. It's a vicious circle. But ever since I've been on them, I can tell you I sleep better. My nightmares are not as bad. So see here, I come through, and there's the loop. And I pull that through. And as you can see here, everything is nice and neat. Uh, yeah, so it's just not. I don't know if they'll ever really go away. I suffered too much growing up with things that were happening. And as I grew into an adult, they were magnified by the things that were happening. So, yeah. Mental illness is not something to be made fun of. It's not something to ridicule anybody about. We all have episodes. Some it only lasts fleetingly. Others it carries on for months or years. And with others, it is a lifetime. Some are born with it, as in schizophrenia, um, bipolar disorder, any of those kinds of disorders. Uh, for me, I've been diagnosed with um, I had it on my tongue. Um, it's a combination of depression, anxiety, PTSD, borderline personality disorder. Now, that doesn't mean I'm crazy, because I'm not crazy. It just means that I developed a coping mechanism to deal with all the traumas I suffered in my life. And I guess one more step, and it could cause what used to be called split personality disorder. But thankfully, I didn't go that far. I was aware of everything. Even though I blocked off my inner child, protected her, it was still extremely traumatic for me. And those of you who have um, suffered when you were a child from all the various child abuse issues. And believe me, I didn't have some of the real nasty ones. But each individual, some people, it is that they were touched inappropriately and it goes on from there, that they just shelter themselves away. Others, it is extremely severe abuse. Now, I kind of fall in the medium to high range. What happened, or medium to severe range. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that someone who has a softer case of borderline, it doesn't mean that they suffer any less. And I dealt with depression and anxiety and PTSD, well, complex PTSD, and suicidal ideation. I had social anxiety. I had performance anxiety. These are all wrapped into one. I'm just checking here to see what my time is. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up so I don't run out of space. I don't mean to leave you hanging like this, but anyway, if you have any comments, any suggestions, any ideas, what I can do to improve my channel, that you would like to see me do something else, just anything. If you have any questions, please comment below, and please give me thumbs up and become a subscriber if you haven't already. And yeah, so I'm hoping I'm going to continue working on here today. I like to work on color bands. So this is it. So I will work on this orange. And then I will go on and work on something else again. Whatever it is that picks me up, which will probably be this color. So on that note, I'm praying that this goes up with no problems. And if it does, I'll be back tomorrow with another Stitch with Me video. And thank you again so very much to everyone who has liked and subscribed and commented. Your comments mean the world to me, and I thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart that you are joining me. So on that note, may God bless you, and may you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.